And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
As Jesus passed by, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, the man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "Neither he nor his parents sinned. It is so that the works of God might become visible through him. We have to do the works of the one who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world." When he had said this, he spat on the ground and made clay with saliva and smeared the clay in his eyes and said to him, "Go wash in the pool of Siloam," which meant sent. So he went and washed and came back and was able to see. His neighbors and those who had seen him earlier as a beggar child said, "Isn't this the one who used to sit and beg?" Some said, "It is." But others said, "No, he just looks like him." He said, "I am." So they said to him, "How were your eyes opened?" And he replied, "A man called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and told me to go and wash. So I went there and washed and was able to see." And they said to him, "Where is he?" He said, "I don't know." They brought the one who was once blind to the Pharisees. Now Jesus had made clay and opened the eyes on a Sabbath. So then the Pharisees also asked him how he was able to see. He said to them, "He put clay on my eyes and washed, and now I can see." So the Pharisees said, "This man is not from God, because he does not keep the Sabbath." But others said, "How can a sinful man do such signs?" And there was a division among them. So they said to the blind man again, "What do you have to say about this man, since he opened your eyes?" He said, "He is a prophet." Now the Jews did not believe that he had been blind and gained his sight, until they summoned his parents, the parents of the one who had gained his sight. They asked them, "Is this your son, who you said was born blind? How does he see now?" His parents answered and said, "We know this is our son and that he was born blind. We do not know how he sees now, nor do we know who opened his eyes. Ask him. He is of age. He can speak for himself." His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jews, for the Jews had already agreed that if anyone acknowledged him as the Christ, he would be expelled from the synagogue. For this reason, his parents said, "He is of age, question him." So a second time they called the man who had been blind and said to him, "Give God the praise. We know that this man is a sinner." He replied, "If he is a sinner, I don't know. One thing I do know is that I was blind and now I see." So they said to him, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" He answered them, "I told you already, and you did not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become his disciples too?" They ridiculed him and said, "You are that man's disciple. We are disciples of Moses. We know that God spoke to Moses, but we do not know where this one is from." The man answered and said to them, "This is what is so amazing, that you do not know where he is from, yet he opened my eyes. We know that God does not listen to sinners, but if one is devout and does his will, he listens to him. It is unheard of that anyone ever open the eyes of a person born blind. If this man is not from God, he would not be able to do anything." They answered and said to him, "You were born totally in sin, and you are trying to teach us?" Then they threw him out. When Jesus heard that they had thrown him out, he found him and said, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" He answered and said, "Who is he, sir, that I may believe in him?" Jesus said to him, "You have seen him, and the one speaking to you is he." He said, "I do believe, Lord," and he worshiped him. Then Jesus said, "I came into this world for judgment, so that those who do not see might see, and those who do see might become blind." Some of the Pharisees who were with him heard this and said to him, "Surely we are not also blind, are we?" Jesus said to them, "If you were blind, you would not have sin. You would have no sin. But now you are saying, 'We see,' so your sin remains." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Lent is a great time to reflect on our spiritual journey as we grow in God's love. But it's also a time to think about God's journey with us. Some people might think that God doesn't journey. God's just, a static reality. He's God eternal and never changing, always just God. And for sure, he's God within himself. But even within himself, I think God is dynamic, not static. That's the mystery of the Holy Trinity, 3 persons in one God. But I think that God also is dynamic with us. He's constantly seeking us out. He's constantly wanting to be with us. He's constantly trying to journey with us. I think we see that in the choice of David. Samuel sent to Bethlehem, to Jesse's house, to pick the next king of Israel. And 7 sons are trooped before him. But God doesn't judge as man judges. God doesn't judge as the world judges. So the youngest is brought to him, the little shepherd boy from out in the fields, and he is anointed. Not only does God seek out the next king of Israel, he will equip him to do the ministry at hand. He will take the littlest, the shepherd boy, and make him king. The Spirit will rush upon him and give him the strength and the wisdom, the courage to follow God's lead. Let's jump ahead to Jesus. God made flesh, the ultimate statement about how God seeks us out. That in that little town of Bethlehem again, he is born to a weary world. He will come to be with us. And throughout his ministry, we see him reaching out again and again with healing touch, with consoling touch, with a comfort to the sick, to reach out to the hungry, to bring truth to those in darkness. We see him reaching out today to a blind man. Passing by, the blind man doesn't call out or anything. As a matter of fact, the first part of the encounter is more of a teaching lesson for his disciples. Why is this man born blind? Is it his sin or his parents' sin? And Jesus makes it very clear, it's not about sin. This is for the glory of God. A teaching that the Pharisees and the leaders of Israel will not listen to. They'll kick the blind man out when they get to that point of the story. But Jesus turns to the blind man, and I love the part how he takes the spit. It's just such an earthly truth. I have this image of my mom when we would come to church, and there's 7 of us trooping into church. She'd look at us and go, "Oh my goodness, you forgot to wash your face." And she'd wipe our faces with her spit. And I'm thinking, how does that make me any cleaner? But it was Mom, and it did make me cleaner, I think. Jesus is so earthy. He's just down with us. And he takes something of himself and puts it on the eyes of the blind man. Washes at the pool of Siloam and see again. It doesn't stop there, because at that point the blind man is just thinking this is a prophet. Jesus will seek him out again, and he'll teach him that he's the Son of God. I love the response. "I do believe, Lord." Shouldn't that be our response? What will be our response to the God who seeks us out in this Lenten journey? What will we do in response to this God that seeks us out in this dark valley, who wants to be our shepherd, who wants to lead us and guide us, shine his light of truth and consolation, of hope and healing in our lives. Can we follow in faith? Can we be, as Paul will say in our second reading, children of the light, not only illumined in ourselves, but bringing that light to others? May our response be today and every day, especially in our Lenten journey, I do believe, Lord.